My mom and stepdad abandoned me in the hospital for a vacation. Shocking Reddit stories. Hey everyone. Today, I have a story to share with you. A story about family, betrayal, and finding the strength to stand up for yourself. My life was never perfect. My parents divorced 3 years ago. They fought a lot, so it wasn't a surprise. When they decided to separate. After the divorce, my mom and dad shared custody. It wasn't easy adjusting to two different homes, but just as I was starting to settle in, my mom met Kevin. She was completely smitten. Within weeks, she was introducing him to me, as if he was supposed to be part of our family overnight. But Kevin wasn't a kind man. He was controlling, disrespectful, and made it clear that he wanted things his way. From the very beginning, he tried to force me to accept him as my dad. He criticized me, controlled how I dressed, and constantly hovered whenever I had friends over. He never did the same to his sons. It was like he had different rules for them. And then there was me, the outsider in my own home. My mom? She ignored it. Every time I spoke up, she brushed it off, saying, "He's just being protective." Then the accident happened. Just a day before we were supposed to go on a family vacation, my mom and I were in a car accident. She walked away with a few scrapes. But I wasn't so lucky. I had a broken arm and a concussion. The doctors said I needed to stay in the hospital for a few days for observation. And that's when Kevin made it clear just how little I meant to him. Instead of worrying about my health, he kept talking about the vacation, the money he had spent, the tickets, the hotels, and then he said something that broke me. "At your age, you should be able to stay in the hospital alone." I pleaded with my mom to stay with me. At first, she hesitated, but Kevin kept pushing. He told her there was no point in staying behind, that she'd just be sitting around doing nothing. And she listened to him. My own mother left me in that hospital alone, to go on a vacation with Kevin and his sons. That night I couldn't stop crying. A nurse saw me and offered to call my mom, but I knew she wouldn't answer. So instead, I gave her my dad's number. When he picked up the phone, he was furious. My mom had downplayed everything. She told him we were in a small accident and that I was fine. She never mentioned my broken arm, my concussion, or the fact that she had abandoned me in the hospital. My dad dropped everything and drove to the hospital. When he walked through that door, I finally felt safe. For the first time in years, someone was choosing me over everything else. He stayed with me every single night. When I was discharged, he refused to let me go back to Kevin's house, where they had planned to leave me alone with a babysitter. Instead, he took me home with him. And then, he called CPS Kevin and my mom were investigated. They tried to contact me, but instead of apologizing, they accused me of ruining their vacation. My mom even pressured me to lie to the authorities, warning me that if I didn't, she could lose custody of me. But I refused. For years, I had let them push me aside, make me feel like I didn't matter. Not anymore. I told CPS everything. They gave my mom a warning. She was required to take parenting classes and go to counseling. Kevin was also put under scrutiny for his treatment of me. But I wasn't waiting around to see if they would change. I stayed with my dad. It's been 4 months since I left my mom's house, and for the first time in my life, I feel free. I don't have to walk on eggshells. I don't have to prove my worth. I'm finally in a place where I feel loved, respected, safe. My mom still calls. She says she misses me, but I'm not ready to go back because I've learned something important. Family isn't about blood. It's about who's there for you when it matters. And my dad, he was there. Thank you for listening to my story. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for more real-life stories like this. And remember, never let anyone make you feel like you don't matter, because you do.